It was a normal sunny morning and I've just gotten up. And I knew I had to work just by getting up, so I grab my towel, I get my clothes, I take a cold shower and I sit down to work. But there's an issue. I wanted to record 3 videos, but I only had 2 videos scripted as yesterday I procrastinated on the 3rd one. So with a bit of resentment, since I only wanted to record today, I started kind of trotting through and scripting the 3rd one. But now it was time for me to record, and I was a little bit annoyed that I just procrastinated yesterday and I didn't script the 3rd script that I was meant to record today. But I knew that I had to record that video if I wanted to get the results that I wanted of building my personal brand, making money, gaining status, gaining confidence. So I grabbed my tripod, I put my phone down, I hit the record button, and I sit there. I didn't even start recording. I sit there and I start visualizing myself just recording, it going well, me speaking well. And I start speaking and I start telling the story at the beginning of my video. And I finished that video, but now it was time for the 2nd one. But this time it wasn't so easy. I sat there for a few seconds contemplating whether I should record this 2nd one or just procrastinate and let my future self do it. And as I'm just sitting there, I just managed to muster up the courage to just record the 2nd video. So I just continue and just start recording the 2nd video. And now it was time for the last one. It was time for the last video that I scripted. But this time it was just really tough. I thought to myself that I'm just gonna record this another day, that I could just record it tomorrow in the morning. But I just thought to myself that I would hate it if I just have one video left that I just didn't decide to record. So after battling in my mind for a few seconds, contemplating whether I should, contemplating whether I shouldn't, I ended up just recording the video. But after I finished that, it wasn't just a normal day. I just didn't get up and then just start doing whatever. It felt so good to have finished recording those 3 videos. Even though I was literally battling with myself every single minute recording that video. Literally, as I was recording that video, there were times where I was just sitting there for a few seconds, for a few minutes, contemplating whether I should continue or just leave it for my tomorrow self. But I kept going through, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it literally felt like a 10 out of 10 experience. I literally got up and I was in this haze where I felt amazing. I was just in a flow state and all my chemicals were just going all around. I felt so happy, so accomplished. The reason I told you this story, just to remind you that literally everything that you want, whether it's followers, status, confidence, whatever you need to do in your business, whatever you want from your business, is literally just at the other side of just a procrastination wall, at the other side of just a wall that you need to climb, which is just basically being productive and doing the work that needs to be done. Yesterday, I was laying in bed in the afternoon and I was just kind of procrastinating on things I had to do. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm perfect. And I was just scrolling on like YouTube until I came across this video and I clicked on it. And I learned something that I'm about to tell you right now that literally changed my entire mindset, that made me crave doing the good habits and crave doing the hard work. So to help you imagine this, I want to give you the same story that video gave you. So let's say we have this guy, right? And his name, let's just call him Joe. This Joe, he's like basically like a complete loser. He's just indulging in bad habits. He does all the bad habits imaginable. He doesn't work out. He wakes up late, then he scrolls, then he just goes and plays video games, he faps, he does all the bad habits basically. And he tries to start a business, but then he never really does anything. He can't just sit down for 5 minutes and work without getting distracted by his phone or just a craving to play video games. Now Joe has a neighbor named Marcus, and Marcus seems so disciplined, so productive. Every single day he seems just to effortlessly do the things that he needs to do. He goes to the gym, he's healthy, he's got a family. He just seems perfect. And Joe is jealous that Marcus is able to be so disciplined, has so much willpower. He just wants to know the secret to being so disciplined and have so much willpower. But he's deluded himself into having the wrong mindset, because it's not really discipline and it's not really willpower. One day Joe tried to be super disciplined, have so much willpower, and he wakes up early, he goes to the gym, he tries to do some work. But after the day goes by, he starts indulging in a few bad habits, starts scrolling, playing video games. And before you know it, he's just back to his old self. And he just wonders why he keeps going back to this old self if he doesn't even like doing the bad habits. He knows it makes him feel bad, yet he keeps doing them. And he just wants to be like Marcus. I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt like Joe in this story, but when it came to work and being productive. Now nowadays, I'm not that down bad where I used to wake up late, play video games, waste my time. I'm hoping you're probably not in that stage either. You're probably more disciplined. You start a business, you're on your self-improvement, you're going to the gym, you're improving yourself. But recently, I still kind of resented my good habits. Even though I know they were good for them, I still kind of didn't want to do them. So I want to ask you this question. Imagine there's a teacher in front of you and you're like a little boy, and she tells you that you should do this, but you want to do this other thing. What would you rather do? What you should do or what you want to do? Now obviously you're a little kid, so you're going to do what you want to do. Telling your brain that you should work out, that you should work for 3 hours, you should be productive, it's kind of the same thing. You're always going to do what you want to do. But let me ask you this. How did you feel when you did do something hard? Wait, pause. But when you did do something disciplined, something that you knew you should have done, You felt good. Like, let's say you went to the gym and you didn't feel like it. You worked for 3 hours. You became more productive than you were. You worked for 3 hours. You worked for 5 hours. You felt good, didn't you? So in reality, we have just been sold this lie that good habits are meant to be hard and bad habits are meant to be easy. Now, obviously, since we as humans are wired that way, obviously they kind of are. But we kind of do want to do the good habits because we do crave that feeling of feeling good and not having any guilt. Because when you do something difficult, when you do something disciplined, you feel good about it. When you go to the gym, even though you didn't want to, or you work when you didn't even want to, you get that good feeling. So you do actually want to do the work. I know it sounds so simple and kind of stupid, but usually we actually do forget that good habits actually do make you feel good, authentic goodness, happiness. Whereas bad habits, on the other hand, make you actually feel bad. They make you feel good now, but actually bad in the long term. Oh, I knew you probably already know this, but usually you kind of forget. You usually think like, oh, I don't really want to do my good habits. I don't feel like being disciplined today. I don't really feel like working today. So what I started doing was seeing my good habits are actually like a treasure, or something that actually feels good, something that I get to do. Because imagine this, you literally get to do something, just a simple action, like for example, meditating for 2 minutes, and you get all the benefits of having an increased attention span, being happier because you have an increased attention span. But bad habits do the opposite. For example, when you scroll on social media, you decrease your attention span and your life just becomes worse overall. So put simply, start seeing your good habits as actually something that you get to do, something that's actually good for you, and start seeing your bad habits as almost like a punishment. Just having this in your mind, actually having this framework, this mental model is going to help you way more with the advanced tactics that I'm going to give you in a minute. Now, before I tell you the tactics, I want to ask you this. What happens when you do actually like wake up late and you scroll on your phone and you basically do all the bad habits in one day? You feel bad, don't you? So you don't even really want to do bad habits. They feel pleasurable, but you really don't want to do them. Like, you know inside of you, like you've watched so many videos telling you that bad habits are basically bad, like scrolling on social media, playing video games. You watch so many of those. So in your core, you know that they're bad. But how do you actually break that cycle? I'm going to give you one of the best strategies that I've learned to actually improve your productivity and improve your habits. When you really think about it, good habits, what are they? They're just basically an obstacle to what you want. So think about it, you literally just have to do 10 minutes of meditation and you increase your attention span, you become happier, and you just make more money in the overall, you get more growth, you basically get all these benefits. But with the bad habits of just scrolling on social media, you decrease your attention span, you get less money, you become less likely to take action, to read books, to become a better person, and you become less confident because of it. So when you frame it like that, doing the bad habit seems like stupid, and not doing the good habit seems stupid as well. Like, doing the good habit feels like the next natural step. I remember one day my habits started to almost lose their magic, almost lose their meaning, and I stopped doing them. They started to feel almost like a chore, something like an intrusion to my day, rather than something that's meant to benefit me. And one day I was watching a YouTube video and I was procrastinating working out. I was meant to be working out 30 minutes ago. It was like 4:30, and I was just scrolling through YouTube. I was just scrolling to the homepage and I click on a video, and then it teaches me highlighting the benefits, and I actually try to do it. I think to myself, okay, if I work out, that means I'm going to build muscle. If I build muscle, I'm going to become more confident. If I become more confident, that means I'm going to get more growth. When I framed it that way, it became like, why would I skip the gym? Why would I skip working out if I get all these benefits for just doing this one action? It almost became stupid not to do that action. And it's always when your habits become a chore, something that you don't want to do, is because you don't have a meaning for them. Because you probably experienced it. You probably heard of a new tactic or a new habit from a video. You do it because you've heard the guy speak about like, oh, if you do this habit of meditation, you're going to increase your attention span, you're going to make more money, you're going to get more growth because you're more present, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, you're going to get all these benefits. And then you start doing it. But then after a while, it starts to begin to feel like a chore. And that is always because you start losing the meaning in them. For example, a while back, I was like watching some Andrew Huberman podcast, and I learned how the importance of getting sunlight. And it was basically sunlight was going to increase my testosterone. It was like good for the mental health and the mind and the body and everything. But then after a while, I didn't really think of the benefits. I just kind of saw it as a chore. I was like, oh, I need to take sunlight again. Until I watched an Andrew Huberman podcast again, and I was like, oh wait, I get all these benefits. It reminded me of all the benefits that I got. And when I got reminded, I started doing the habit again, because the magic almost came back to it, the meaning came back to it. Because imagine this, which book would you rather read? A book that is just complete gibberish and just waste your time, or a book that pays you for every single page that you read? Well, obviously you're probably going to pick the book that actually pays you for every page that you read. And that's how our mind actually sees the good habits. If you have no meaning for them, it's almost like you're reading a gibberish book that is just a waste of your time. And obviously you're not going to want to do that. Your mind's not going to want to do that. But when you read a book that pays you for every single page that you read, your mind's going to want to do that. And when you really think about it, let's imagine you're reading Atomic Habits. If you read every single page, eventually the more you read that, the more money you're gonna make, because the more likely you're gonna stick to your habits, the more likely you're gonna stick to working, the more likely you're gonna become healthy, the more likely you're gonna make money. So when you frame it that way, that let's say you read a page or you read this book, and if you learn a new insight, you're gonna make more money. What the video was saying is that you almost have to connect this thing that you have to do to what you want out of life. For example, for me, it was working. If I work, I'm gonna become more disciplined. If I become more disciplined, I'm gonna become more disciplined in my habits. I'm gonna be more likely to do them. If I'm more likely to do my good habits, I'm gonna become healthier. If I'm healthier, I'm gonna become more confident. If I'm more confident, I'm gonna get girls. And when you frame it that way, you almost become stupid not to actually do the work, because you think like, if I'm doing the work and I get more girls and I make more money and I gain more status, why wouldn't I do it? And I want to give you this bonus tactic that I didn't actually write down, but I want to give you it anyway, that really will help you a lot now I think about it, which is making it easy. This is another principle from Atomic Habits, which the thing we just talked about of you linking what you need to do to what you want, is basically just making the habit attractive. Making it like, oh, I want to actually do this. But making it easy also makes it like, oh, I can do this, I want to do this. And I remember this one time where I used to meditate for 10 minutes. But then after a while, I stopped meditating for 10 minutes because I got sick, and then I stopped being consistent. But obviously, I wanted to get back to meditating for 10 minutes. But I just couldn't, because it was like 10 minutes was a lot to me because I haven't done it for a while. So every single day I would do it sometimes, I would skip it sometimes, I would just not meditate at all. So I was like, okay, no, what if I just try to meditate for 1 minute? It's better for me to meditate for 1 minute than just not meditating at all. So I started meditating for 1 minute. And then after a while, I meditated for 2 minutes. After a few days, I increased it to 3 minutes, to 4, to 5, to 6. And before I knew it, I was back to 10 minutes. And what I found is that work and habits are a little bit different when it comes to making it easy. When it comes to work, I found this thing that I call the 10-minute rule, where it basically you convince your brain to just work for 10 minutes instead of working for the 1 hour you have. And the idea of this is to actually get you to sit down and do the work. Because usually sitting down and actually doing the work, getting into the flow of working, is harder than just maintaining the flow of work. Because what is harder, getting a car from 0 to 20 miles per hour or getting a car from 50 to 70? Obviously harder is going to be getting it from 0 to 20, because an object that is not in motion, what's the state? Not in motion. So what you want to do is just basically convince your brain that you're only going to work for 10 minutes. And I remember when I did this, I got out of bed. It was like a morning and I didn't want to get out of bed. But I was thinking to myself, okay, if I just work for 10 minutes and I script for 10 minutes, I'm going to be making progress and I'm going to get out of bed. That's like a win-win. So I did that. I got out of bed, I took a shower, and I worked for 10 minutes. But before I knew it, it's actually kind of fun to just script. So I was continuing, I script for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and before I knew it, the whole hour went by. And I made a whole video before school even started, just because I decided to use the 10-minute rule. When it comes back to habits right now, think of a habit that you maybe been slacking on, that maybe you haven't really been consistent with, and just make it easy. Lower the bar to entry. Maybe you haven't been very consistent with meditation, with gratitude, with visualizations, and you could just lower the bar to entry 1 minute. You just tell yourself that you're only gonna meditate for 1 minute. It's gonna be better for you to meditate for 2 minutes every single day for the rest of your life than meditating for basically 0 minutes for the rest of your life. With that, the next time you don't feel like doing a habit, or the next time you don't feel like working, remember to yourself, highlight the benefits, connect you doing this habit to you getting what you want. And when you really believe it, you don't just want to tell yourself, oh, if I work, then I'll get more girls. Oh yeah, that doesn't really benefit me. The times that this won't help you and you won't feel anything is because you're not really believing it. The time that you do really believe it and you do almost visualize it in your mind, that if you really do work, you will get more girls. Or if you really do work, you're gonna make more money. Or if you do stick to your habits, you will get girls. Or if you go to gym, you will get girls. Then it actually becomes stupid not to do the habit, because it's like, I'm gonna get all these benefits just for doing the habit. And I know I keep repeating that, but when you really convince your brain to do this, it becomes so easy to do the habits. And when you pair this up with making it easy and highlighting the benefits, there's literally a 0% chance that you skip your habits. Zero, and I can promise you that. 0% chance that you skip your habits. And when it comes to work, you can use a 10-minute rule that I just taught you as a bonus that I wasn't really planning to tell you, but I think you'll find a lot of value in this. So if you just find some value in this, I know that you're gonna probably make a lot of money, because you're actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, this was a longer video than I was expecting. And if you did have the attention span to watch it without any flashy edits and everything, that's nice, because that means you actually have the attention span to work and to actually become successful. So I'm proud of you for that. So I'm just gonna tell you this last piece of wisdom, that if you do stay consistent and you do keep watching these long form videos and you do keep learning and gathering information and applying it to your life, you're gonna see results. I'm telling you that from my experience, because for the last few weeks, really, I haven't been learning a lot. And because of that, I haven't really been improving. I've just been doing the same thing over and over and over. And because of that, I haven't really been seeing any results. until the day that I actually saw a video and it reminded me that learning is actually the best habit, that you can literally learn something new and change your entire life because of it. And when I did that, when I actually started learning and when I actually started reading books again, started watching podcasts again, I started wasting my time watching entertainment videos, that's when my business started taking off. That's when I started getting new insights. And I was like, oh, I should probably do this. I should probably do that. Oh, I should probably do this to make more money. And guess what? I started getting new clients. I started making more money. So I do want to give you that last piece of wisdom, man. Like I've told you, you do have probably an amazing attention span. You do have the capabilities to become successful, and I really hope you found value in this video.